I am here to host a very special exclusive conversation with Flip Your Wig at the prestigious BFI London Film Festival 2024. Joining me right now are a bunch of the most exciting filmmakers who are showing their work. I'm so excited to just talk to you all. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you all? I'll go to you first, Victoria. How are you feeling?
Good. It's exciting. It's nice seeing other films as well. It's like my happy place. It's like being on holiday at film festival when it goes well. It's also quite nerve-wracking as well. Like all of my friends and family coming, so that's quite...
Did you manage to get them on the list?
Yeah.
Well done.
For sure.
Well done, you.
My mum's coming, my brother, everybody.
I love that.
Yeah.
And Lana, for you?
I love London. I lived here for a month last summer. I love being here. I'm going to galleries and to eat pastries for the remainder of today.
Jane.
Yeah.
How are you? I mean, you're local as
I am,
well.
yeah.
So, got any memories of coming to London Film Festival?
Oh yeah, loads of times when I was young, being brought up in London, and yeah, I'm just so excited to be here with a British film as well, talking about British society. It means a lot to me.
And Sandia, we were just saying, you said, look, I've got this Indian film, Hindi-speaking film, but I'm a Brit, the money's been budgeted support. So to have it at London Film Festival, what does that mean?
Just really vital, like, you know, screening it in London and in India are the two most important places for me to screen this film, so it's great to have our premiere here.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking time out. I really appreciate it, and I'm incredibly excited about this conversation. Firstly, I just want to put the elephant in the room out. We were already discussing it. I was so pleasantly surprised when Sanam at the BFI and Liz were like, we've got these amazing filmmakers, and I was like, oh, they're all women. Lana, you have a little laugh there.
Well, because it's not a women's theme panel.
No.
And I have to say, I'm very used to being invited onto women's theme panels, which is great. But there was one point, this film was at Sundance this year. It's my 5th feature. I made 6 shorts also. And my whole schedule was, let's try to support women directors panels. Yeah. And I was like, at what point am I allowed to be on the directors panel? Not just the women's celebrity. And the fact that this is a directors panel.
Yes, it is.
Not a women's theme panel.
Hell yeah, it is a directors panel.
I mean, I feel like we always find our way to each other because it is special in the industry. These tables can sometimes happen organically because we find each other. But yes, it is special.
Yeah. You guys are all here. You're all at London Film Festival, which is brilliant. But in our industry, often we're taught this idea of fake it till we make it. We're here now and everyone gets to see this, a red carpet, you're all having premieres. But the reality is a lot of times we're struggling and we're trying to figure out what are we doing. One day could be brilliant and then the next week it's like, oh crap, I'm back here. Could you just share how you deal with imposter syndrome, how you deal with those difficult times? Because I think there's a lot of people out here that are trying to do exactly the same thing and often feel I'm not being welcome in.
I graduated film school like 25 years ago or something, right? Everything I made I've been really proud of, but like I am probably earning less now than I've earned since I graduated, despite the year of being the UK Oscar entry, having been at Cannes in competition. Like, you know, it's really difficult for me to get my head around how that is or why that is. You know, if I talk to people, they'll say it's very hard times, you know, in the industry and this and that. My idea has always been to focus on the work. If you're being ignored, just ignore it. If everyone thinks you're great, just ignore it. Yeah. Just keep doing some work. It's the only like healing, you know, redemptive, positive thing, not to get caught up in anything, and just, you know, to struggle to make a living also. That's what I'm, you know, I find is the biggest challenge, and my biggest frustration is really how to actually pay some bills.
I feel you. Thank you for being so honest and sharing that with us. Jane?
So I changed career. I was a photojournalist for 15 years, and then I became a documentary filmmaker when my son was born. And I just remember my first son. I remember those evenings where I'd looked after him all day and I kept myself awake and I'd go and like write my scripts, do my emails, shoot my things and put all my little money that I had into it. I just remember how hard it was juggling, and I didn't know anyone in the industry, but I knew I wanted to be a documentary filmmaker. I had, you know, worked in the field as a journalist, but I knew I wanted to do this. And I just kept going and I just kept emailing. I mean, the amount of time I just really annoyed a lot of people. And I did, and I just kept, and I still do. And I just keep going, and I never listen to anybody else because people say various things for various reasons, and you've just got to somehow believe in yourself. And then over time, you can put yourself within your own films as well. You come to terms with yourself and your own heritage and where you're coming from, and don't be afraid to just that you know that your own truth, and that should go into your films. And it will work out. You just keep going, basically.
I love that last bit because I'm going through that at the moment. There is definitely something in that, your own identity and being comfortable to finally share it within your work. Sarah, what about you?
I mean, so this is my first feature. It took 10 years to make. And I think one of the hardest parts is when a film takes that long, it can feel like it's never going to happen, or there's a reason that it hasn't gotten off the ground, that there's some deficiency in you or the project. And I think if I could tell student me or me 10 years ago, it would be when those sort of doubts come in, is just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean the project doesn't have value or doesn't mean it won't happen. And the length of time does not signify the value of your work.
Me too, 10 years on this project,
Yeah.
so we're
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
we're in a good place.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly, totally second that.
Yeah.
So nothing necessarily comes quick and easy. Lana, you've had like the Netflix moment as well, which I think, like everyone's
the Netflix moment, yeah.
And with the biggest pop icon in the world right now, Taylor Swift, congratulations.
Thank
Incredible
you.
documentary. Again, I think people will look at you today and think, she's probably living her best life in Hollywood. It's all easy peasy. So could you kind of give us an insight into your life and where it is now after the success of that too, I guess?
Right. Well, I mean, echoing a lot of what all of you has said, it's so true. It's funny, I remember before I made the Taylor Swift documentary, I really struggled to make my second film. And it came out and I thought, this is the best thing I've ever made. No one was seeing it, like 10 people total saw it, and I thought, this is so good. And I had a friend come over to me at the, nearly empty premiere of that film, and she said, Lana, it's all about body of work. Body of work. And that's kind of what some of you were saying too, and you have to continue. When I got the call from a Netflix person about the Taylor Swift film, it's after I'd had many failed pitch meetings with Netflix, and I'm like totally demoralized, like nothing's happening. It doesn't matter, all the failures can still lead to something happening later. And this film I'm here with, I also worked on 7 years while working on other films because it was so hard to make because there's no main character, there's no story. It's literally just about an experience you have in a cinema. That's the subject of the film, and that's what it is. And to make something like that is very difficult. It's inherently uncommercial in a way, but if you just keep chipping away at it over time, when you can get to the finish line, it's incredibly rewarding. Not that it erases, the self-doubt or all of that. You can have simultaneously the glittering, amazing moments, but then you can also feel like, has my imagination like hit a ceiling or a wall? That to me is the hardest part, rather than what other people might think. If you yourself are like, I can't figure this out creatively, I'm hitting something, how do I get through it? That's the hardest stuff to navigate.
Victoria, for me, like there's a moment in your documentary where your son, I think, says something where he's trying to encourage you and saying that you were like being brave and doing the thing you need to do. How do you feel about that imposter syndrome, that thing about being a woman, maybe even a woman of a certain age? Because I think now once you hit 30, I keep talking to actresses, they're like, we're mums, aunties, and that's it. But your son was like, Mum, do it.
I think it's in a way, imposter syndrome sort of gives a sense that we've all got doubts about our talents, and I don't think as filmmakers we have. The problem is a world that's often male funders and male commissioners who don't get the stories we want to tell. That's the problem. And I think what was liberating for me, this is my first feature film at nearly 60, and I had 10 years out. I had to have 10 years out. I couldn't carry on being a filmmaker, lone director when I was raising a kid on my own. And when I came back in, I went the traditional route and was at documentary forums and festivals and trying to get the funding. And it was difficult after that 10-year gap. I finally raised 70,000 euros, but couldn't raise the match funding in time, so it all disappeared. And at the time, I'd just made a smartphone short for just £2,000 that I then started to see get a Vimeo staff pick and to do really well and to have a kind of online life. And I thought, sod this, the gatekeepers, and they're trying to raise the funding. It's not creative. I learnt producing skills, I suppose, but it was a waste of time. I'd spent 4 years writing proposals. And I thought, no, I'd rather make another film. So for me, the smartphone was liberating. And I think, in a way, there isn't any excuses to making a film. You have a really good camera in your pocket. And for me, it was discovering that that was absolutely liberating.
Guys, thank you to everybody that's here today sharing. It means so much. Is there anything you guys would like to potentially share with the audience that are creative folk that perhaps I haven't asked?
I recommend keeping your day job. You had another career. I had another career too. No, really. But I made my first 2 films when I had a full-time day job. I mean, then you don't have to be. You cannot be stressed
I have
about
a day job,
making
I'm an
money to
academic.
survive while you're making a film. It's not.
It's
happening.
so
I had to
uncreative,
stop the
isn't
day job to shoot my feature because, like, you
course, you
can't
have
like
to
stop the
go.
day job for like a year.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm in the shit now, basically.
That's why I can't buy the rent.
We're all in the shit financially.
We all love
this for the money. You just got it.
but they love what they do. Right. And that's the most important thing.
I do want to say something. This is just not about that, but
Please.
this is just for doc makers, like coming from
Yeah.
documentary. Like the great films I've seen, studied at the National Film and Television School. It's my very like core love documentary, and to see like how difficult it is to have meaningful artistic docs distributed in the UK makes me so upset. I think what I've noticed in the shift of fiction, which has been amazing, is that there is some investment in the artist. If they see something, people will invest in you, they will believe in you, and you have, support. And in documentary, you're on your own, totally isolated, as an island. Oh, will you please self-finance that? Oh, thank you. Come back to us when you've had a full film and we'll see if we'll buy it for £5,000. No, thank you. So I do like full respect to the real warriors at the table with the documentary makers. It's true. It is really is true, because I feel like quite spoilt having made this fiction, no matter how tough it was. But there was still support.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I've even just being around you lot today has given me such good energy, and it's pretty infectious to just have open conversations with incredible people just killing the game and still on their journey and still learning and growing. Can I just say, Sandhya, Jane, Sarah, Lana, Victoria, thank you so much for taking time out of your London Film Festival experience and sitting down with me and the team here. We appreciate it so much, and I know the audience will as well. And have a blast. Wear sensible shoes on those red carpets and wear a coat because it's flipping cold.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're awesome.